watching the monkey.
Cloud. Now we're recording.
Yeah, I see it. It's on now at my end too, right?
So welcome everybody. The recording has now started. That's how we can share it with posterity.
Yep.
And we'll be going through it. But first, very interesting banana pointing person there.
Yes.
We're going to go through looking at the context wherever you are. And then we'll take it from there. So Phil, I'll let you take it away.
So
we didn't introduce ourselves.
No, yeah, let's do that.
We should do that. I'm Kevin Polk.
And I'm Phil Tenalia.
And we do the Act Matrix stuff.
Yeah.
I developed it in 2009. Phil was with me back then, folks. So he's been with the even at the inception of the Act Matrix. And so now we do the podcast, this, other stuff. We do a certification training.
Yep.
We do in-person gigs, meaning we go. Phil travels around this Philadelphia.
Yeah, do some training.
Area,
yep.
Right. And I go here and there. Going up to Halifax in March. So,
nice.
But anyways, that kind of thing. This is what we do. So, and this is a question that we come across relatively often.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, this started as a conversation that Kevin and I had that was prompted by conversation I had. So we got talking about it and we thought, this is a good conversation for a webinar.
Right. I've done entire courses on it. I mean, I've done webinars on it over the last 10 years. This topic of dealing with difficult bosses, dealing with difficult people, whatever. So there you go. That's what we're up to.
That's right.
Fire it up, Phil.
So what we thought we would do today was, as Kevin said, kind of set the context here. And we are big fans of Frederick Laloux's work called Reinventing Organizations. And I'm going to put a slide up right now. You should see it right now. Can you see it, Kevin?
Yes, I can.
All right. So this would be our jumping off point today for our conversation. And Frederick Laloux wrote two books, actually. One is more print heavy, and the one that we recommend has got pictures in it because we like pictures, and it's much easier to get through and graph. It's a great read.
You'll see it says Reinventing Organizations, and right below it, it says an illustrated invitation.
Right.
So that's what you want to get is the illustrated one. It's got really cute pictures.
Yeah.
And it is just a great history of human organizations.
Yeah.
And so just really good read. Very well done. He's very learned, but whatever, he got this person to come in and do these illustrations with him and send it over the top. And so that's so we're going to say, look at your organization from this point of view.
Yeah.
And in the next slide.
And the next slide is he uses a color-coded system, which works very nicely. I'm going to put up a slide right now. And this is a slide of the way he envisions the evolution of organizations. And as you can see, it's good. He goes from this color-coded system starting with red, and then he ends up going into amber and then orange and green. At the top, the most highly evolved organizational structure would be what he calls teal.
Yeah, so just think of humans way down at the tribe level, very, very basic level. And literally he's looking at it as an evolution across time. And so the red ones are, a powerful leader who will kill you if you get out of line.
Yeah, so here's the slide for that one. So here's your...
And those organizations exist now.
Yeah.
They exist now. They're called organized crime.
Yep.
And some gangs.
Think Tony Soprano, those are...
Yeah. And some other stuff. If you think about it and look at it, it's just this very powerful leader.
Yeah.
That can literally, if you get out of line too far, you can end up dead.
Yep.
So that's red. and that's the beginning. So
Yep.
there we go.
So we're here. We're looking at
Oh,
red.
oh, by the way, if you're in one of those, get out.
Yeah, that's our advice today.
Don't say
Leave.
anything.
Go.
Just leave.
Quietly.
You're
Don't
right.
even tell them you're going. Just slip out the back
Just slip
door.
out the back and leave.
Yeah.
There's no words that you're going to say. That's right. Now, we also very highly doubt that anybody in a red organization is listening to this webinar.
Yes. But we do want to speak to you, red folks, if you're out there. Our advice today is to not be there.
Really, it's life not worth that.
Yeah.
So get on out of that.
So go do something else.
Right. So here we go. Next one.
So the next one is the Amber organization. And now you want to think like government.
So now we got city states going, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, things are evolving out now, right?
Right. Think the Bronze Age.
We're starting to group together in hierarchies.
Right. We got hierarchies. We got rules to follow. And this and that and the other.
And that's the way it works best. Is someone's at the top, someone's at the bottom. You got to follow the rules. It's interchangeable parts, but the people at the top are really the ones in charge, and not much say so from the folks at the bottom.
No. And so it's a step up, and there's pretty good chance you're not going to get killed.
Yeah, it's definitely safer.
Safer. It's not the best.
You don't have to flee from the Amber organizations the way you do.
You could probably get your way around that one.
Yeah, you'd be all right there for a while.
You could be okay there, but those are still tough. Those are tough because it's still very much very strict hierarchical order, and so if you have a bad boss, your options are more limited.
You're restricted. Yeah.
You're restricted. So that's what we mean by contextual. We're contextualizing it. So you're just not going to go say any set of words.
No.
In an amber, and you're certainly not going to say any in a red. You're just going to keep your mouth.
Yeah, you don't talk there. You just follow. They tell you to do stuff, you do it.
Right, and in an amber, we got some chances to say something and do some.
There is some feedback that goes back up. Not a lot, but a little bit of feedback.
Little bit. So that's different. So next we'll go to the next one.
Yeah. So now we're moving to what Lalou calls the orange level.
Yep.
And that's kind of like your basic business, I would say, right, Kevin?
Oh my goodness, industrial revolution.
Yeah. This was the biggie. This was what exploded everything.
Things exploded in late 1800s. That we took off, and the Industrial Revolution took off, and so the Industrial Revolution took from the Amber organizations. Think plantations, folks.
Yeah.
It's as far as a business goes, a step up above slavery.
Yeah.
Plantations, you either had slaves or indentured
servants. Yeah.
And people on the bottom rungs treated pretty darn poorly, really. So if you'll think of plantations as one of the very first large-scale businesses.
Yeah.
And they're oftentimes referred to as a plantation.
Yep.
So, and then if you look at the business structure, well, you're probably going to get whipped, but you may not get killed. In a red, you're going to get killed.
Yeah.
So now we're into orange. Now we've modernized. We've come into the Industrial Revolution. And now it's beginning. Now notice he put in the words individual achievement. Now we have the idea of a meritocracy starting to come into this.
Yep.
Like if I work hard.
I work hard and get up into that meritocracy.
I can move up. I can go from floor sweeper to supervisor or on up.
So it's about acquiring power. It's about acquiring influence as you go. Right. So you can then turn around and boss those people around down below you.
Yeah. And so these are very common even now.
Yeah.
This is because, come on, folks, that's just 150 years ago or so.
Yeah. Not that long ago,
It's
folks.
not
Think
that
about
long ago at
it.
all.
Talking evolution here.
Right. So there's a lot of these still there. And you probably get the idea that, and you may work in one of these things. So where indeed, through some individual achievement, you might move up. But it is very mechanistic in that, well, you got to do a certain set of steps.
Yeah, there's a stepwise progression going on.
Right. And materialistic, very much so.
Pay your dues.
You're going to pay your dues. You're going to get paid more as you move up.
Right.
And these are very common.
Quota systems, things like that. You're in sales. You're making your quotas.
So at this point, now you'll get some folks will start borrowing from the plantation system and transferring it over here. And we have a lot of this going on now, which Phil just said quota systems. So whenever they start barcoding everything and barcoding you and checking wherever you're going, and
swiping in to get in, swiping in to get out,
measuring your every
punching a clock.
Yeah, well, and even measuring your bathroom breaks. And
yeah, exactly.
And, how many units per minute are you moving around?
Yeah, how efficient are you?
These time and efficiency studies. That's
Yeah.
literally what they called them, was time and efficiency studies. Notice mechanistic, very materialistic. And it's like our job is to make more widgets so we can make more money.
Yeah.
Very much like that. So you can get the oppressiveness of the plantation system and still have this sort of kind of meritocracy where you can move up.
You got the carrot there that like you can get out of this thing. You can.
And obviously you have more options, more words, more things that you can do to go talk to a difficult boss or maneuver around a difficult boss or do something. So now we have that orange system. Okay. So on up, have some fun. Let's get out of orange.
Yeah, let's go move up to the green organization.
Hey, think the 60s, folks.
Here we go.
And we're training, empowerment, team bonus, stakeholders are important. You all know the language.
You are a valued employee of this organization.
Right. We're going to have meditation classes. And think Ben & Jerry's ice cream.
Yeah.
Literally, really way up there. Do Ben & Jerry's, now they sold it.
Yeah, they're not. Ben & Jerry aren't around
anymore. When
they started, and they were.
Right. Were they the heads? Yes, they were.
Oh,
when
yeah.
they were doing it, they were the heads. But were they cool guys to work for? Yes.
Yeah.
And they were going to take care of you and take care of their employees and make sure you got ice cream. All kinds of cool stuff. So they were in charge, but you could call them benevolent dictators, and for a sort of a political look at it. But they were benevolent, and you can most definitely go talk to people about difficult bosses and stuff.
Yeah. They were.
Now you're free. You can go running up and not get your head bit off, and certainly not get whipped, and certainly not get killed, and probably don't even get fired. Because if you go back to an orange,
yeah, go back here,
folks. If you screw up there, they're going to get rid of you.
Yeah.
Well, they won't whip you and they won't fire you, but they'll figure out how to pink slip you or make your life so friggin' miserable that you quit. That's sort of the modus operandi of those. So they're a little bit more difficult. So when you go back to the green, down to the green, now that's really not much chance of that happening. It could happen.
Yeah.
Because people are people, but for the most part, no, they've put in the touchy-feely kind of stuff.
And also the other thing about this, when you get it to green, people that work in green organizations and up, they really tend to like they like buy in. They like being a part of this thing.
Yeah, they do. They stay. And people that work for Ben & Jerry stayed.
It's like a badge of honor. I work for so-and-so, right?
Right. It was cool.
And it could even be a mom and pop business too, right, Kevin?
It can be very much a mom and pop business. But that's where I go into. They're benevolent dictators.
Yeah.
Mom and pop own the business. So they have the final word on everything. and they send out orders and all that. They're just nice about it.
Yeah.
You know,
And you like working for them.
they're inclusive about it.
Yeah.
Right. You like working.
You're getting orders, but they're doing it in the nicest sort of way.
Exactly. And anybody who studied a little bit of political science probably heard the words that the most efficient way for a country to run is a benevolent dictatorship. Because most everybody likes being told what to do, and the person's being really nice and making sure we're well taken care of. And, you know, it's that. One teeny tiny little problem with it, they die. Their offspring or somebody, other coup or something
Comes along.
over. Yeah, and things go
They're
bad.
not so warm and fuzzy.
Right. And so, of course, one of the big American experiment was trying to do something about that, level that out, so and not have the dictator stuff. But anyway, back to an organization where you're going to talk to your bosses. These are pretty easy peasy, but you still got a boss.
Yeah.
And you probably still got a supervisor.
Oh yeah.
You can just talk to them.
Right.
That's a green, and you feel safe. You feel psychologically safe. We didn't mention
get
that.
your head bit off.
So let's go back to red.
Yeah, go all the way back here.
Let's talk about psychological safety. You do not feel safe.
I mean, just look at that picture. Do you feel safe being a part of that?
If you feel safe, you're delusional.
Right. Even the guy up here doesn't really feel
No,
safe.
he doesn't feel safe. He knows that people are out to kill him anytime. You know, if he goes to the Senate, they're going to stab him in the back. See?
Yeah, they got you can't see, but they got little knives behind them back there.
Exactly. It's a dangerous place.
Right.
So psychologically, you don't feel safe. Now we go to amber. Hey, we feel a little bit safer now.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, we got some rules.
And if you notice, we're all following each other here, right?
Following each other around, and we're doing stuff. So now
it's predictable. It's more predictable.
Our psychological safety has inched up.
Humans like predictable things.
Right. Now we go to orange, and we feel like we can get ahead and stuff.
Yeah.
And,
You can move into the bigger pond.
and now it's really an iffy situation of your psychological safety, and it does depend on your boss and stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll get to that in a minute.
Yep.
Green, they're sort of built on psychological safety. That's the way if you were looking at it from Eleanor Ostrom's stuff, design principles for successful groups and this and that, and all modern industrial organizational psychology and work psychology kind of publications, they all talk about psychological safety.
Yeah.
And these things, greens are built to have psychological safety, a great deal of it. And they're paying attention to that. So if you want to do consulting work, go work with greens. Yeah. They're easy. They already want what they'll
talk to you.
They'll talk to you.
They'll invite you in.
They'll invite you in, and you'll have a really good time.
Yes.
It'll be fun. And finally, we're going to go to this is the cutting edge of our evolution.
This is the creme de la creme, folks.
This is the hairy, and there are companies that work this way, folks. These are teals. The color is teal. And it says self-management, purpose, inner rightness, culture building. Let's go back. The basic teal organization is about a 10-person employee team. Yeah. So it may have 1,000 employees, but those 1,000 employees are divided up into 10-person teams. Anywhere 8, 9, maybe up to 15, not much more. Yeah. And suddenly you become a bit of your own boss. Yeah. So in green, you've got bosses. In teal, you and your team members are your own bosses. You're designing your own destiny. And there's actually not a hierarchy above you. The hierarchy above you is people who just keep the accounting straight. Yeah. But they're not a hierarchy. They're the accounting department.
Because you got to get paid still.
Because you got to get paid, and all that good stuff, right. But they push the paperwork around, but no, you're an autonomous team that is working to fit in, so the organization can succeed But now you really don't have much of a boss. You don't even, team leader structure even in these things is weak. If they're not team leader in the sense that they're the boss. They're not the supervisor. And so that would be something to think. It's not where you've taken the supervisors of the amber and the orange and even the green folks and transplanted them over into a teal.
They're more of like the guide.
They're a guide. Yeah.
They're there to facilitate and
right.
help
And a
move
difference.
things.
And so like you say, well, who in the heck could that be? One of the first ones, Lou writes about is nurses in the Netherlands.
Right.
Read the book. But another, there's manufacturing companies that do it as well.
Yeah. I think it was Zappos he talked about.
Yep.
Yeah.
You set it up. And so it's cool, like for the customers, you would literally, if you had some widget that you were having made by a company, you would literally call up and talk to the team who was making the widget. You don't have to go down through the chain of command. No, you go
where you need to go, do what you
right
need to
where
do.
you need to go. You talk to the people who are doing making the widget for you.
Right.
It's really and then notice it's very radical. It's really different. It's a really different way. And in this, you're probably not going to have. Might have a difficult coworker, but you're not going to have a difficult.
That could happen. Right.
Well, yeah, difficult coworker could happen, but not so much a difficult boss, because you are part of the boss.
Right.
And that's where, and by the way, folks, let's face it, most of us like to be told what to do. Right. We would rather have a benevolent dictator just telling us what to do, and we just go do it and get on about our business.
Burns less brain energy to be told what to do.
It really is, and it's not. That's not a diss on anybody at all. But if you go into a teal organization, you don't have that. You're not going to get that. You're going to have to make decisions. You're going to have to be part of the decision-making structure.
So there's the responsibility is spread out.
Much more so, diffuse.
Everybody owns a piece of it.
And that's that self-management. I mean, you are managing yourself and fitting into the hierarchy. So as far as dealing with difficult bosses, teal's not going to be on our conversation.
No.
Just unless you just want to quit working for an orange or a green and go to work for a teal.
Yeah.
If that were your solution, then there you go.
Go for
it. So now we're talking about dealing with difficult bosses. We got through. That's the whole color scheme, folks.
Right.
You want to have fun. Now, widely available up on the internet is that diagram, the slide.
Yeah, I just pulled that right off of a Google
right
search.
Off the internet. You can find it. It's really interesting. If you have a color printer, print it off and read through it. I have some copies laying around here. I refer to it often. And why? Because I'll be working with some organization, and after talking with them a little bit, I'll want to look at that diagram. I want to say, where are they?
Yeah.
In the evolutionary scale of things, where does that organization sit? Where does the person I'm talking to, where are they sitting within? Because it's really important to know that.
Because that's going to inform your work and what you do next and how you proceed.
Very much so.
You're in one of those, you get into one of these amber organizations, for example, that you're going to need to get to the top people and have some conversations with them first, if you can do that.
Yeah. And okay, so we're talking about consulting now.
Yeah, and that's a little bit different, but
it's a little bit different, but it's sort of the same problem. Because if we go down and talk to people too far down the ladder, we would get in trouble.
Yeah.
Because we're just the people in the hierarchy above are just going to.
The word would get out. Someone's messing with our hierarchy.
Exactly. You just have to go into the top.
Yeah.
And start from there. We're not going to knowingly go into a red. It's not going to happen.
Nope. No part to that.
We're not going to do that. They're not going to invite us anyway, so it's okay. Amber, maybe. The highest probability is orange.
Yeah.
there's a lot of oranges out there. The Industrial Revolution was really popular. It produced a lot of orange organizations that exist to this day. And just a little bit of a thing from our point of view, a lot of times have an orange organization and they just love the green language.
Oh yeah.
Right. So they
talk.
they want to say, oh my God, we are doing
we're very this and that inclusive.
You know, oh yeah, we're so inclusive, and we work for psychological safety and all that. You know, and those are called words. Yeah. They're not walking the walk. They're talking the talk, but they're not walking the walk like a green. You know, the stress management and the yoga and whatever stuff that they'll put into those organizations. And you may have been in one of the people listening to this that it didn't go very far and got sort of screwed up pretty quickly. That's just because it's the orange organizations trying to go get some greeny looking stuff, you know, sort of like a carnivore trying to eat a few leaves. Say they're eating their vegetables, you know, not really. So, and that's just the way it is, folks. We're realists. So if we know that going in, that's fine. We don't have a problem with that. We just want to know that going in. You know, and Phil and I are at the time they're going to go in and going to say, hey, you know, you guys are running an orange organization. That's really stupid. Yeah. We need to stop doing that. Oh yeah, that's going to get us.
That's the end of that gig.
Right. That gig, and it's not going to do anybody any good. Right. So anyway, back to it. So now we're all the way back to percolation time.
Yeah. So we're just letting all this percolate. All this you want to be percolating in the background. You know, if you're dealing with your difficult boss or your difficult organization, you kind of take this structure and let's let it sit in the back there for a while.
So really, and you want to go to work and you want to start thinking and want to look, what am I inside of? Because I guarantee you, especially if you print off a loose little diagram off the internet, you know, and take
that back up again.
Oh, that one right there. It's really cool. It's easy to print. And go in and you stare and say, okay. Now, by the way, leave it up because look at that, folks.
Yeah.
When you see that nice military person in amber, okay, so let's say I want to go join the Army. Guess what you're about to join? What do you think, folks?
What do you think? Now, I don't have my chat, so I can't see.
I do. I don't know what they're saying, but
all right. Maybe they'll maybe someone will chat.
Stare at the diagram. Think, okay, I'm going to go. Maybe you say I am in the Army or Navy or Marines or I'm working in the government. What color organization are you planning to work in, or are you working in now? Anybody can type in chat and say, what do you think? Yep. If you're in the military, this is an if. Maybe you are, I don't know. But think about it. This is how you use the diagram. Nobody's brave enough to type. It won't hurt you any. We haven't bit anybody, not since last week. No, we haven't ever bit anybody.
You know, and having said all that, being in the military, you know, that's the way that organization has to be. They need people that are going to follow those rules, and they can't have a lot of deviation there.
Oh yeah, I mean, but strangely enough, people, come on, folks, somebody guessed about what color you would be in if you're in the military. I'm still waiting for that. Well, I make this comment. If you put together a SEAL team, suddenly the SEAL team becomes teal.
Yeah. They go from here. Is my cursor moving?
Yes.
Yeah. They go from here all the way up to here.
All the way up to there, because that.
Why would that be?
Right. Why would that be? Any of these, you know, the Army Special Forces.
Yeah.
Any of those, and they will even know that. They've gone from their usual hierarchical command structure and switched it to a flat horizontal structure. And there's many reasons, but one, you want every team member to have equal authority when you're doing a mission. So if you lose a team member, you haven't lost your leader. You haven't lost your general or your captain or anything like that. The team, now it's just 9 out of 10 people, but really the team is the same, you know, as far as hierarchy. Everybody knows what everybody's position is. Everybody, there's no hierarchy. They want to go to that teal because it works better on that. But all other parts, Lord and Command, Red One, the militia. The militia, all right.
Yeah, go.
There, right. Usually they put them into amber, the military, very hierarchical thing. Traditional churches get in there too. So
Oh yeah.
if you're a member of, you know, the Catholics, the Jews, think traditional church.
Yeah.
They're amber. They're very hierarchical, very rule bound. Let's see, command of the,
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Carlos, right.
Right.
I can see it
And,
now.
and then
I
you
got
pop yourself into the orange, which is, there you got. They do have innovation and accountability and meritocracy and profit and all that stuff. And at the same time, we all know they can be hard to work in.
Yeah.
They can be,
because you tend to be treated like one of these things, like these things here, these little wheels.
There's these little gears in the middle there.
Right.
That's right. And you'll come out and you'll say, I feel like I'm just in a cog in a machine.
Yeah, I'll even say I feel like someone's chewing me up, you know?
Yeah. You get a lot of that. And this is why 70% of people in the Western world I know of don't like where they work.
Yep.
And so, come on, those people are in red, amber, and oranges. If you go interview people in green and teals, they like where they work.
Yeah.
But there's not a whole lot of green and teals in the world. I mean, if they add up to 20%, I would be.
Oh, I'd be shocked.
I'd be shocked if they add up to 20%.
Yes.
So it's probably more like 10%. So the vast majority of workplaces are red, amber, and orange. And of course, with the biggest chunks being amber and orange. So if you work for the government, you're probably in an amber organization. Yeah. But if you work for Microsoft or Apple or somebody, you're probably in a orange organization. Yep. If you work for Ben & Jerry's, you're in a green organization. That kind of thing. So now, so it's just pay attention to where you are. That's it. There's some study to be done here, folks. Before you say a word, you want to study where you are. What organization are you within? What context am I in? What pond am I swimming in? What metaphor should we use, Phil?
Yeah, that's it. Like, what are my current conditions? What I look around? What do I see? What do I hear?
Right.
How are people being treated?
Swimming with goldfish, or am I swimming with crocodiles?
Right. Yeah. Am I in the shark tank and I'm not a shark?
Exactly. Predator or prey? Where am I here? What's going on here? And it's better before you do anything to know where you're at. Another thing to know about in this, folks, is a lot of people say, well, F this job, I'm going to get a new one.
Yeah.
Fine. We're not saying don't do that.
Yeah.
We are saying whenever you look at the next one, get this diagram out.
You might want to have it in the back of your head.
And when you go interview them and stuff, thinking, oh, well, I'm just jumping from one orange.
Because you could be jumping anywhere here, right?
You could be jumping from orange to orange. It's real easy because orange are most definitely the most frequently occurring. Yeah. They're the modal. That would be called, in statistics, it'd be the mode, the most frequently occurring organizational business structure is orange. And so jumping from orange to orange, your probabilities of jumping over and getting another bad boss.
Well, I'm sure all of us have done that, where you hop into a new job and you go, hey, the same sharks that were over there are over here too now.
It's the same stuff. So sort of bad. And what happens within all of these things is that it's supposed to be a meritocracy. If you go back to the previous, you'll see it's competition, profit, innovation, meritocracy is one of the things.
Down here, right there.
And humans, all of us are a little strange. All of us humans. And in a meritocracy, once somebody makes it up to supervisor, okay, and they make it up to that, what do they suddenly, their mindset changes. And one of the dangerous mindsets, oh, very nice, Phil, thank you.
There you go.
One of
I'm
the very
working.
dangerous.
I'm learning as I go along.
One of the very dangerous mindsets is I know more than anybody else.
Yeah.
And I'm Lord and conqueror of everybody.
Which is my way or the highway.
My way or the highway. And I have certainly had those supervisors.
Oh, as have I.
And as Phil and almost everybody else we ever talk to, the power goes to their head. Let's just put it easy. It's still a power. It's like a red or an amber kind of thinking.
Yep.
And you get in that supervisory power, and boom, it goes to their head, and they become a bad boss. Okay. So now I'm talking. So now, given that situation, you're in you're in an orange organization.
Yep.
I'm there. I have a bad boss, meaning it's probably a supervisor. Okay. And so now what am I going to do? Okay. Well, obviously you got to know, given that situation, now you have choices.
Yeah.
One, you could go directly deal with the person, with the bad boss. But I wouldn't do it by going and telling them they're a bad boss.
No, do not use those words.
That's a joke, folks.
Do not even insinuate those words.
You can also go over their head.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The best move would be human resources, right?
It's usually it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That you go over their head.
I'm going to human resources, and I'm going to file me a complaint.
Right. Because that's one way of doing it. You could go to the supervisor's boss.
Yeah.
Okay, you can do that as well.
Yep.
But now you're outside of protections.
Yeah.
I'm just talking facts, folks.
Yep.
And so if you were going to do that kind of move, I would go to HR and make sure that they were on board. And then have an HR representative go with you.
Right.
This would be like a lawyer giving you legal advice.
Yeah.
And no lawyer is going to tell you, hey, go sit down and have a heart-to-heart conversation with the cops.
No. Yeah, same thing like if you're in a union situation, you're going to
exactly.
Your union rep.
Right. You need your union rep.
Yeah, you need some backup.
Yeah, don't. And we all want to think we can do it ourselves.
Yeah.
And don't. I'm not saying even getting union or representation will work, but your chances of going in by yourself are just...
It's going to decrease your chances. And we're talking about how to increase your chances.
Right. So that would be one. That would be the formal thing of you're going to go try and get somebody to straighten up their ways or something. So just know that. And why? Because you're in an orange thing, and there's lots of rules, but you can get chewed up by supervisors and bosses of supervisors and stuff. I mean, you can get chewed up anyway, but you definitely want to go get your representation. Go get it's essentially a type of legal representation within the system, and you need to do that. So little advice there. However, let's go back to, we're just going to say words at them.
Yeah. Okay. We're good.
So we started with sort of the official thing you might do. You've given up. You're going to go file a complaint, basically. Mm-hmm. That happens. Okay.
Yep.
Know that.
Legitimate thing to do.
By the way, if you're in a green organization, not so much so. You're okay. They're not. You can go talk to people. They pride themselves on people being able to
open door policy.
Open door policies and stuff. And, that more than likely you're going to be okay. So you don't have to have that legal representational kind of thing going on. Just not the same thing. So that's a big difference between those two. That's why people like working in greens, right? So anyways, back to that. Let's say you're going to say something to them. Now, what words might you say? I already reviewed, you're a bad boss. I don't like you. Straighten your ways. Not going to work.
Nope.
You might want to say that, but it's not going to work. So now we get into the matrix. Where's our matrix?
Well, which one shall I bring up, Kevin? I got
You definitely want to bring up the first one.
the very first one, right?
You're almost there. There you go.
How about that?
Now, who's important to you? Before you do any of this stuff or most anything else in your life, you want to reconsider who's important to you.
Yeah, let's just take the matrix away and just, there it is.
You really want to look
You don't
at
even
that.
need a matrix to ask that question. Just,
And this is going to make a whole bunch of difference on what you do, what you say. Gosh, we've all been in circumstances in life where we really needed to take care of other people and we really needed a paycheck to take care of them. And we're going to knuckle under and just not say a darn thing.
do what you need to do.
Just do what we need to do to get the paycheck, keep the food on the table and all that stuff. We are not Pollyannish here, folks.
No.
We understand that people are in
It's
that
really important to get clear about this question. Really.
Right. So who's important to you makes all the difference in the world, and what you're doing and how you're working to take care of those people and stuff. And we understand that it's not a very fair system that we are working in right now. And there are millions and millions, if not the majority of people that are sort of in tough financial straits, you know. It's hard to say things inside of these organizations because you need the paycheck, right? And the paycheck is based on who's important to you. You know, if it's just you, you're 18-year-old and you're not married, single. Just, hey, if you're 18 and you got out from underneath your parents' wing, congratulations.
Yes.
To you.
That's right. Moment of transition for you toward independence.
Yeah, I applaud you. But whatever it is, you know, you just got a lot more freedom.
Yeah.
You know, it's just you. And so with a family, that's a whole different thing. So that's the first thing always to consider. Who's important to me? Given what I'm about to do, how does it fit with who's important to me?
Yeah.
People forget that question. Sort of like, God dang it, I'm fed up with this. You know, and I feel that way too. But it's better to take a moment here.
Slow it down.
Slow it down. Who's important to you?
Think about your important people.
Right.
Even if it is just you.
Right. And so what you might do in the upper right quadrant in that time, at that time, I mean, it might say, yes, I'm going to stand up for myself when I'm going to say some things. I'm going to try and change the situation at work so it's better for me. And that can, of course, happen. Absolutely. Yeah. But it also could be, I'm just going to keep my mouth shut.
Right.
And there's no shame in that. It's just based on, I mean, it's no shame on it once it's based on who's important to you. Yeah. You know, that includes you and other people and all of that. So just get that squared away really well before you do anything, especially before you up and quit. You know.
Yes. Which is another option that you have, of course.
That's another option you have. You know, some of us have done it at times. You know, and if you can afford to do it based on who's important to you, go right ahead. So number one, always, in all things matrix, we'll come back to that, who's important to you, because it's very, very important. Okay, so then after that, let's say we've looked at it, we're okay, we can do an intervention. We can say something. Yeah. Okay, so now what might you say to the boss, to your boss? How might you deal with your boss?
Anybody got a comment that what you might want to say? Because there's right now, there's no right or wrong thing to say. We're just kind of walking you through this process here. Given what you just went through about who's important to you, right?
And what you just went through regarding what kind of organization you're sitting inside of.
Right.
Ted, Tara, Mark. Hey, Mark. I know Mark. He used to work where I did. Hey, Mark.
Hey.
Hey, Mark. You can answer me down in chat. What kind of organization do you work in now? Red, amber, orange, green, or teal? It's a great system. That's all the colors.
Yeah.
You can memorize them really pretty
Yeah.
quickly.
And I'll bring that back up for people. Oh, there you go.
George, what yucky stuff?
What George is asking, what yucky stuff gets in the way of our effectiveness?
Oh yeah, well, we ain't got there yet.
Yeah, that's because I threw up that second slide.
Oh,
with
you
the,
set up. You set up. Okay.
and George took a look at it. So let's back up to just here
Yeah.
first, and then you can. I'll bring the slide back up. And Carlos is saying, my customers, the owners of their companies. Okay, there you go. So yes, you're the customer, right? What is it we say? The customer is always right. We're trying to influence the customer, provide a service, sell a product, whatever it is that you're trying to do within your organization. Your customers are also who is important to you.
Yes. Darn it, I clicked on the wrong thing. There we go. But back to my question. What might you say? Given what kind of organization you're working within and who's
So you've gone back in, you've identified it, right?
So you say, I'm working in an amber.
Yeah.
There we go. I'm in an amber. And who's important to me? And I got a bad boss. What might I do?
That's your situation.
Because absolutely, that's your situation. So all of this talking, folks, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay, so I know I got a bad boss. I just know that. Okay, I've looked at it. Now I can definitely see I'm in an amber organization. You know, so there you go. And I have people who are important to me. So my actions are very shaded by who's important to me, what I might do. Now, given that context, for people who want to go for, this is contextualizing your response.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And so now, given that, what might you do? Quit? Go tell them off? What might you do? Nobody's answering. Maybe your chat is located at the bottom of the window. If you look at the bottom of the window, it says chat. There's a little thought balloon there. Then you click on chat, and then you can type in your response. It's real easy.
Yeah.
We've had several people chat so far. We can even chat.
Hey, make it some more. Now, Kevin, I'm going to throw this slide up because this may help a little bit because that's what we're talking about here. That people are, difficult experiences are coming your way, right? And then we've just contextualized it in terms of who and what's important.
Yes.
And where you're looking at. And what we're looking at is what responses that you're going to have. And as you can see, there's lots of responses. There's a range of responses. So now George has said, what options can lead to better productive safety flexibility? All right.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So George has weighed in. He's gotten brave, and he said, "What?"
And that's what you would say.
Yeah.
So you go to your boss and you say, "Hey, boss, what options can lead to better productivity, safety, and flexibility in our workplace?"
There you go.
I just reframed what George said into a statement that you might say to your boss. Nobody's guessing. They must be afraid that it'll get back to their company.
It could be.
What color they're in. Yeah, I guess it could be, Big Brother might be watching.
Oh, here you go. Oh, and he's at it. And what keeps you awake at night? Oh, there you go.
Oh, ask your boss. What keeps you awake?
Yeah.
Now, that's an interesting question.
That's a really interesting question.
I might not like that question, but
yeah.
Nevertheless, it might. Okay, so either of those, then you would look at, okay, is that kind of statement to my boss? based on who and what's important to me, a toward move? Or is it really an away move?
Yeah.
I'm feeling yucky and I'm just trying to put my boss in a bad situation.
Yep.
Because it feels better to see them squirm. Might be okay. Might do it that way.
Could be workable for you.
Could be workable. I don't know. There's no right and wrong answers here, folks. Because it's contextual. It's what kind of organization are you in, and then who's important to you, and then given all of that, what kind of moves do you feel like you have degrees of freedom to make, to say, to do? Because there's no, you don't have to be brave here, folks. You can keep your job.
Yeah.
it's all right. You can go ahead and tell people off. That's just not always the best way to do it. Let's go on with one that Phil and I like. And this will be partially an announcement to a few people. In February, a trifold of the Matrix is coming out. And what we mean by that, it's a laminated, think placemat. Then it folds up, trifolds together, and there's the traditional matrix on the front and the psychological flexibility loop 2 on the back of that. So what I immediately said was, well, just go leave one of those on their desk.
Right.
Let's see, what after? I think I'm struggling with the who context in this scenario. In this scenario, let's see, who is important is myself, and that I could not be content at work, and that's really important to me, is to have a healthy workplace where I thrive. Yeah, that's right.
That's it. You got it.
And that's exactly right. And now think, do you have kids at home?
Yeah.
Do you got a family at home?
Oh, so she doesn't. So it's just her.
Then you're good.
Oh, her husband. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so your husband, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And maybe it's the husband who's, I don't know, for whatever reason, out of work or something, and not bringing in any money.
Yeah.
See, it changes. That's what we mean by who's important.
It's the context. Now
in the back of your mind. In the back of your mind, it's going to change.
Yeah.
It's going to change how psychologically safe you feel to do something.
Right.
That's what we mean by that. So if you got a bunch of kids at home,
and a mortgage or rent or whatever.
And a mortgage, rent, and all that kind of, and nothing in your savings account, all that stuff, it's just entirely different than if that's not the case. It's something different. That's what we mean by, so you would have probably, Tara, you would probably have a lot of degrees of freedom.
Right.
In selecting a response.
So
that's
that would
all we're saying.
Back here, Tara, you would have a lot of responses, right? So if I put up that slide, you have a lot of options.
Where you are, if you're in a red organization, you have few responses. And if you're in a red organization and you got a bunch of needy kids and stuff,
you got less responses.
You got very few responses that you can pull off. So whereas if it's just you or just you and your husband and you got money in the bank and you got freedoms, well, now you can go in and quit. You can go in and tell somebody off. You can, you can violate hierarchical structures and get in trouble, because who cares? I'm getting in trouble. You see what I mean? It really changes how you're going to do stuff.
She's saying, okay, I get it. So do I always make work decisions with one coworker of mine because I like her a lot and don't want her to experience any negative repercussions on my act?
There you go.
Perfect.
Well, that's who's important to you.
There you go.
Because what I do might screw things up for them.
Right. And we've all been in situations, myself included, where I'm working very closely with my partner, my work partner, so I want to be thinking about him or her too, while I'm making these decisions with my boss or about
exactly. And so literally I can go do something and mess up their lives, their work lives. And that's what we mean by contextualize. So we would be irresponsible to say that there's just, here is an exact way of going to deal with a boss.
Right.
No way, folks.
No.
We know. We have studied my master's degree was in industrial organizational psychology. So I've been playing with this stuff for over 30 years. And then along comes Lelou's book, and it's just great stuff, wonderful in organizing these. And so that structure makes a big difference about what you can do with a bad boss. And then the next is who's important to you: coworkers, family, friends, whoever. I don't know. They can come into the equation and do it. Now, thanks for off to the next meeting. Yeah, okay. Have your meeting. Have fun. We'll continue recording.
Yeah.
And so next, what might you do?
Yeah.
You know what? And we're going to leave it as homework. Isn't it homework coming up, Phil?
It could be. It could be homework time. Yeah.
I think leave it at homework.
Yeah.
And let people rattle around on it, because man, this is really important stuff, folks.
Yeah.
Phil and I aren't trying to sell you anything.
Nope.
If you'll notice, we're not selling a course on how to deal with your bad boss.
We're wanting to have a conversation about it.
We're wanting to have a conversation, and we're telling you that studying a bit on what kind of organization you're working within and getting a good handle on that is really important. And
really do some percolating.
And then having a solid idea of who's important to you and what I do in regards to dealing with this bad boss can have repercussions to those people who are important to me. Okay?
Right.
That's a big deal. And really, those are the things that you percolate on and you think about before you do anything.
Yeah.
Now, there are things that can be done. Like quit. We all know quit.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, and Tara's on the right track, because she's saying she's noticing the repercussions, or what we would say the consequences of your actions. So you want to kind of envision, all right, so if I make this move, what's the likely response going to be as a result of me doing what I'm doing?
But even
how is that going to work?
Well, even if it's quit, okay?
Yeah.
So I quit. Oh, guess what? That coworker I really not like, now they're going to be asked to work double shifts. And
they're going to get their work and my work.
Right. I just screwed them over.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what you do, but that's what we're talking about. It's always your responses are always contextualized. So what we hope to do in this webinar is to give you those contexts.
Yeah.
The two biggies. One, I think maybe you knew about who's important to you in this kind of a way, but the Lelou stuff, no, most people don't know that structure. They don't know how to go red. Let's do it together. Red, amber.
Go back. Come back up.
Oh, he's bringing the slide back up. So
back up now, right?
Red, that's mafia, hit people, Amber, that's sort of your military government kind of workers. Orange, think Microsoft, Apple, steel companies, all kinds of stuff. Green, Ben and Jerry's. Fun stuff.
Everybody likes ice cream.
We all like ice cream. And then up to teal, those were small teams of people manage themselves. So going up and down. So just do that. You don't know that? Look, where are you working? Now, with all of that said, and as we sign off, something you might want to do. You might want to go look for a green or a teal organization to work for. Yeah. So you're not going to deal with your bad boss at all. Phil's doing something, but
I'm good. You there?
Then I am here. Right. Think about it. It would probably be really good for your mental health to transition to a green or a teal.
Yeah.
And they're out there. You can go find them. But now now you sort of know how to find them, especially if you get the book and read. You can go.
Now you know how to go look for them.
You can really spin it around and interview them, and try to determine if they're a green organization, it would be fun to work for, or if they're an orange just trying to put on green trappings. Mm-hmm. That's the trick, because the oranges these days, they want to sound green.
Yeah.
But they're not.
Now use this, you get better at sniffing these kind of situations.
And get yourself working for a green. or appeal, and you'll be a lot happier. And maybe you can't do that, so then you'll do it. So we'll do another webinar how to hear in the future about what. But right now, let's just sit. Let's just do that. Go do your homework. Know where you are. You're gonna percolate, and we'll be back. What are we doing? Well, we got all kinds of podcasts going. If you want to be on our podcast, come on our podcast.
Listen in.
Listen into our podcast. Join the certification course. We do that. That's the only thing we do for Tiny is the certification course. Everything else, we're just having a good time, trying to inform people and trying to get people using the matrix diagram in order to help. Okay, then just a sec. Now we're talking about here's your matrix, and you're sitting inside of an organization. We're talking about the context that surrounds you.
Yeah, I'm going to put that up again, Kevin.
Right, is very important.
Before we get out of here, let me just see if I can bring that up again.
That's really, we're saying look all around you, outside of your matrix.
All right, you should see that right there.
Right, and it's difficult words. It's outside of that circle. It's outside. What am I in? What kind of organization am I working inside of? And then we sort of come in personally and closer. Who's important to me? And those two things are going to make a huge difference in what you do. But we'll sign off, and we'll be back in the future.
Yes. Take care. Bye-bye.